What's going on, everyone? We're here today to do another cleaning video. And today we are cleaning the Rogue 2 dry herb vape battery. And it's pretty simple to use. All you're going to need is isopropyl alcohol, preferably 99%, but 91 is okay. Don't bother with 70%. You're just going to be wasting your time. And we also have a handful of Q-tips, which probably won't need this much, but just want to make sure I had enough. We have the little cleaning bristle that came with the Rogue 2. We're going to be using this to clean off some leftover flour. And we got the device. We got two mouthpieces here. The default one, stock one it comes in, and the longer glass one. And we also have the dosing capsule. I know in my last video I was calling this like a pill capsule, so sorry if that kind of annoyed everyone. I'm just, sometimes you get lost for words. You don't realize you forgot a word until you're right there needing it. So, what I'm going to do, you don't need to like pour ISO in this. I'm just lazy. So this might waste a little bit of extra ISO. But again, I just like to put things in there that are allowed to go in there and just soak. So we're going to pull this up, this glass stem. You can see it's a little dirty. It was dirtier last time that I used it. I think it was colder then, and I was vaping outside. So I think a lot of the vapor was condensing on the sides here. But that's okay. You still need to clean it. It's a little sticky at the bottom there. So we're just going to let that soak. And same thing with this one. It's harder to tell. That's why I like the glass one, because you can obviously see how dirty it is. Pieces like this, you can't see what's going on inside. It's always hard to tell like how clean it is, so I'll also just let that soak. I barely used that, but we'll let it soak for now. And this is the dosing capsule. It stays pretty clean. Like the flour usually, like after you're done using it, usually dumps out pretty easily. If you dump it out right away, even if you like forget about it, maybe the next day you go to empty it, you might need to get a little tool to kind of unstick it a bit, but it all comes out fairly easy. Just gonna put that in there for now as well. So let's get to the main part. So we're just gonna lift this up, and I used it most recently. I think I used maybe almost an eighth in between cleanings. So, and I didn't use a dosing capsule last time I used it, because I want to show you how dirty it can get and why I like the dosing capsule, despite it maybe not getting the strongest high as opposed to just putting the flour in here. But there's also a lot less having to do this, to clean it so often and as much. But it's not a big deal. We'll just get into it. Now this part just opens right up. You got the screen and the little, this is what I'm saying, lost for words. Silicone, thank you, me. Little holder for the screen. We're just going to also dump that in there. And this part, I'm going to give a quick little dump. Rogue says you can submerge this plastic part in ISO, but like don't let it go for hours on end. Just give it maybe a couple minutes at most. I've noticed with other plastic pieces on other cannabis devices, they can crack depending on the type of plastic that is used. So I definitely don't want to be cracking or breaking this part. That now Rogue sells replacements, obviously, but you shouldn't have to buy a replacement when you're trying to clean the thing. So I'm just getting a Q-tip, going around here, seeing if there's, it's not too bad. It's not much residue on the Q-tip. So we're just gonna get all any stuck on flour particles off. Maybe keep dumping. Keep dipping. Double dip. That's what we're doing here. And this is an easier device to clean. It can take some time if you let it go. Like I would have cleaned this by now, but I wanted to get it nice and dirty for the video. Cleaning your devices is probably as important as using your devices, because if you got a dirty device, it's not going to hit as well. It might break. You're not going to get the best bang for your buck with, in this case, your flour or whatever you're using. So definitely you want to keep your devices in good working order. So that's pretty easy. That can just air dry. You could rinse this part underwater if you wanted to. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to leave it like that. Use Q-tip. All right. Next part, probably the hardest part of this whole thing. Especially, again, if you don't use the dosing capsule. So you see all this kind of... I was also kind of willy-nilly about it. Like when I was putting flour in, I was like, well, I just want to use as an example of kind of flour getting stuck on the sides here. And obviously you can wipe that off, brush that off when you're loading it, but I don't know, maybe that's not, I don't think that's realistic enough. You just want to kind of load it up and go. You don't want to be picking each piece, you know, out of here. So to clean it, we want to try to keep it as upside down as possible, because you don't want any ISO getting into these little holes, and that gets into the mechanics, the components, and it'll ruin it. So when you clean it, it's kind of annoying because you can't really see what you're doing. So it might take a little extra time, but you're also not going to be ruining your device. So you see all that kind of baked on flour. That's going to be the most annoying part around this little rim, is getting all that baked on flour off. So it's going to take a couple passes. So you just kind of, I mean, when you wipe your ass, you don't see it, and somehow, you know, make it through the world without having skid marks, at least as an adult, most of the time, I'd say. So you just basically want to keep wiping with Q-tips until you don't see any stuff on the Q-tips. Almost like wiping your ass. Except I'm not using Q-tips on my ass. That would take forever. So it's getting there. Maybe just need one more. One more. Almost done. And this is definitely a device you want to keep clean. And I've noticed with if you don't use the dosing capsule, the screen will get clogged up with plant matter a lot faster. So basically it forces you to clean, because the airflow is very restricted at that point. You probably can't even see what I'm doing. So now I'm just going around the sides here. And don't like soak your Q-tip, because you don't want any extra, you know, droplets or anything. I don't know if a drop of ISO, if a little gets in there, if it will break it, but I'm not trying to break it. I'm not trying to figure out if that's the case. So that was pretty easy. Not too bad, even after I let it kind of build up over time. And I didn't clean it as soon as I would have liked to normally. And so that was, what, 4 Q-tips plus the fifth one I threw over there. So that's not too bad. I know sometimes I like to use Q-tips, like, a lot. And then you can use the brush to kind of brush off any awkward, like hard to reach spots with the Q-tip. Just to make sure all that plant matter is out of there. That's pretty good. That's basically done. So we'll set that aside for now. Now this glass mouthpiece is also basically clean. just use this little brush. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I mean, it gets over halfway there, so you just have to do it on each side. Not a big deal. This wasn't bad at all. I probably even need to do that. Let me just run it underwater real quick. Also, real quick, don't submerge. Obviously, you probably figured out, don't submerge this. Don't put this in there. Because that will definitely ruin the electronics. All the little places the ISO can leak into. Mouth hole, USB port, the chamber. So, be careful when you clean this. You don't want to ruin this device. Granted, it's not like the craziest. It's not like a Peak Pro crazy price, but you don't want to ruin a perfectly good canvas accessory like that. And what's next? This, again, kind of hard to tell if it's clean, but I'm confident it is. Granted, because I only used it, I don't know, 3 times maybe in between cleanings. I prefer the glass piece. And then what's next? Dosing capsule. That's clean. Just gotta let that air dry. Same with the top piece. This top piece had some particles on it, but it looks like the ISO just unstuck them all. And then same with this little silicone piece. We'll just dry this off real quick. And then last but not least, now Rogue gives you a couple extra screens, and you can buy more. You shouldn't really need to. It might not get perfectly clean. Oh no, that's pretty good. Because why spend more on screens? Granted, screens aren't anything crazy expensive. So you could probably let that go a little bit more, but all the little holes are clear. So that's the important part. And that, hey man, that's it. 5 Q-tips. A little bit of ISO. Granted, you could probably just dip this brush in ISO and clean out the glass that way. If it's not that bad at all, you don't have to waste maybe all this ISO. I have some other cleaning stuff I have to do, but look at all that. That's the leftover stuff that was on our device. That was in the screen. Probably not from the glass. I think that's mostly just from the screen. So that's what I'm saying. Like, definitely need to keep the screen clear, or else you're just going to get not as good of vapors. So let's put this together real quick. Super simple to put together. You got your little, like I said, silicone holder for your screen. It just slides in there. Very easy. Screen then goes in here. Goes right in. Easy as that. And I guess if you wanted to, maybe I'll dip this rag in just the slightest bit of ISO and polish up the outside, because it can get a little smudgy, a little fingerprinty. Granted, it'll probably only look clean until I touch it with my hands, but that's okay. It's not major with the fingerprints. I still think it looks super cool. All right, dry that off. Perfect. And there is one more step before you load this up and use it again. And you'll probably want to get this all the way dry. Maybe I'll just use this for now. You'll want to do a 2-minute burn off. So all that is you turn the device on and you just let it heat up with nothing in there. And that'll burn off any residual ISO that might be in there, especially if you want to use this right away. You don't want to let air dry. Just let it burn off for 2 minutes. It'll heat up. I don't know if you have to go to the max setting. In the directions, they don't say that. Rogue does not say that. Just put the mouthpiece back onto the device and turn it on for 2 minutes to burn off any cleaning residue. So, that's what we're doing now. and once you're done with that, you're golden to load it up again. Like I said, I personally prefer the dosing capsule just to make cleaning that much easier. It wasn't bad though, but if you use this, it'll be just almost nothing to have to clean, except maybe for the capsule and a light cleaning around here if you drop anything. You can see a little vapor or smoke. So that's just burning off anything else that's in there. So you don't want to be vaping ISO. Hey, that's the video, guys. Let me know if you have a Rogue. I think these are pretty cool. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can pick it up from Healthy Rips website. I don't have a link, so just leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. And I also have a membership. I've been saying that a lot in some of my videos. But yeah, if you want to join, be a Straight Edge Stoner member for $1 a month. I'd greatly appreciate it, and you get some perks. All right, so I won't go over the perks. I've talked about that enough. I'm not trying to be too big of a whore. But hey, guys, hopefully this helped you, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.